Hi, and welcome to Parting the Clouds. My name is Annette Hoegner, and we shed the light on the darkness of emotional bondage through real life testimonials. Hi, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Annette Hoegner, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Michael. He came here from China 7 years ago, and he has an incredible testimony to share about his life and what he's experienced since he's been here in America. So, without further ado, welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me, Annette. We're live right now. Are we recording this?
Yes, we're recording this.
I'm very nervous, a little bit nervous, but very excited. Yes, what a journey, coming from a very different country. Should I just get started?
Yeah, go for it.
It was very interesting. Back in 2013 or 14, it was my first time ever came to America. Before then, I was born and raised in China. It's a very small town called Hainan. It's like an island, similar to Hawaii, right? Not a lot of population. People are very chill on there, and people just stay in their comfort zone. They wouldn't go out that much, right? And there's not a lot of people coming to America. And yeah, that was kind of the environment that I grew up in. And I just had a dream when I was a baby. I just feel like the world is so much bigger, right? And that, the world is so much bigger. I just haven't seen enough. So at the age of 10, 11, told my parents, I said, hey, you know what? I actually want to study abroad. I don't want to be in China anymore. I seen the movie, everything is so fancy out there. So I told them, I said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to study abroad. How much is it going to take? What's gonna be required of, and etc. And one of the biggest thing is English, obviously, right? So back then, I just spent almost all my time study English. That was kind of the situation. I wasn't quite fluent at it, but I was able to pass some tests, right? The one is called TOEFL, the other one SAT. SAT, everybody studies here, right? In order to get into college. And I think I'm a natural born in terms of learning new things. I'm just pretty good at it, thanks to God. I'm able to pick up stuff rather quickly. So that's me. Back then in China, and then are you familiar with what's going on, in terms of cultural, in terms of religion?
A little bit, but I would love for you to share from your perspective because there's a lot of things that I didn't know, and that I'm sure anybody listening might not know all the details, as just hearing things from outside perspectives as opposed to you actually being there. So please.
Yeah. In the entire country, quote unquote, is an atheist country. It's a very interesting concept to this day. I don't quite fully understand. They said, what's an atheist country? Atheists, essentially, they say God doesn't exist, right? They don't believe in God. However, in all the sayings, we have this heaven type of concept. We have sky. Sky is kind of like heaven, is kind of similar to God. So growing up, I always had that concept. It wasn't fully, didn't fully quite understand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't quite understand it. So I was just following the trend, whatever they say, I listened to it. And times come when I was 14 or 15, I met this girl. Oh, by the way, I was actually, after I passed my SAT test, I started tutoring people because I feel like I'm pretty good at also wanting to make some extra bucks as well. So I started just right after get admitted by UCLA, which is back in my hometown. Again, this is a small town, right? It was a big deal. Nobody ever, based on my understanding, nobody ever went to UCLA. Like nobody did that in my hometown. So it was a big deal. So they put my name on the bus stop. They put my name on the sign. Just say, oh, congratulations, Michael, for admitted by UCLA, etc., etc.
Wow.
So it was kind of a big deal and gave me a natural promotion on this English tutoring thing. So through this English tutoring, I met this girl. She's just having a very different vibe. I tried to ask her out. She said, "No, you have to come with me." I said, "What is?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "It's a church. It's a Christian church. It's a Baptist church. So you have to go with me there in order for me to go out with you." I at the beginning, I went there very unwillingly. I said, what is going on? What is this thing? I don't fully understand." So I went in the elevator. We took elevator. We go down upstairs. We open the door. I see a whole bunch of people sitting in there. And the first time I went there, I sat through about an hour or so. Didn't feel a lot. All I felt was people were so nice, right? People are super friendly, super nice over there. And I just feel a different energy. It's hard to describe. It's very hard to describe compared to the people from outside the church. The vibe was just very cleansing. I feel the peace, the first time I went in there. And she said, she asked me after church, how you like it? I said, "Oh, this is, I don't know what you guys are talking about too much, but this is really fun. I'm going to come back the next time." So the second time I went, the third time I went, completely changed my entire perception in regards to God, what's true. And I truly feel the sense of empowerment. It's just genuinely, there's the inner peace that is very hard to match. I remember there was a teaching saying that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I think that one's from Philippians, right?
Yes.
This is one of the first verse that got stuck in my mind. I realized I have so much potential as long as I use God, and God is helping you. So at that moment, I decided to devote my life to Christ. So I talked to pastor. I said, "Hey, you know what? I want to get baptized," and that's how my journey started. It was also a very quick anecdote. My mom back then, during that period, she was having a partial seizure on half of her face. She couldn't feel half of her face. The other half was okay. I don't know what that's called. She just
paralyzed.
Yeah, she just couldn't feel her. I don't know what that is. I still don't know what the name for that specifically was. She talked to doctors, couldn't find any answer, and then at that moment, I said, "I know the power of prayer." I kind of understood that. I said, "Why don't I start praying for this? Let me pray for it." And then I will close my eyes. I will say, "Lord Jesus, please heal my mom. Please give her the strength to conquer whatever that is. Make her feel whole again. Make her feel happy." It's just very magically. I think when I first got admitted, when I first joined in, I think God was answering me very fast. The prayer was answered very, very fast. My mom was healed almost instantaneously. It's just a miracle. Like to this day, I couldn't explain it.
What did she say?
She said, "I don't know what happened. It's just I feel better. I mean, I don't need to see doctor because it's gone. It's gone. It's gone." So she was super happy. She said, "Michael, you are very happy. The vibe is different right now. You're more calm. You're more peaceful, and you have a very good energy. What's going on?" And then I started talking to my mom about this. I said, "You should get involved as well. You should go to church." So that was what was happening. So she started going to church as well. But again, going back, that was quote unquote a underground church. Just going back, just thinking in the entire thing. And right now, that stuff doesn't exist anymore. I think it was already dismantled. Is that a word? It's gone.
Yeah, that's a word. So they don't have those churches. The Baptist church you went to, it's now gone.
The one that I went to was gone.
Okay.
There was the one that my mom is going to right now is essentially regulated by the government.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they also teaches gospel. I think it's just very selected. I don't know how that will work out. I don't know what's that about. I wasn't quite involved in that. But genuinely, I do feel at that moment, I do feel God is working His magic, working His power in my life. I truly feel that. Just that was kind of the situation back in China.
So what would have happened? Because you say it was kind of like an underground church. If you guys had gotten caught going to this church, was there any kind of punishment that would take place?
I really don't want to say a lot of things very sensitive here, because my parents are both in China. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I don't know. I've heard stories that are bad. I've seen stuff that are just because it's regulated.
Right.
And this thing, again, it's an atheist country. So, I mean, I don't know how they will want to promote this. Genuinely, I have no idea how they would handle stuff like this, these different church, as long as it's not regulated by government. I think a lot of them are gone. I mean, I might be wrong.
So I didn't know that they had churches that were even regulated by the government. I was under the impression they didn't allow church. So that's interesting. So at least they do allow some kind of interaction with God.
Well, if you call it that, then I'll.
Okay.
Well, let's call it that then. I don't want to say anything. But yeah, after coming to America, things changed quite dramatically. I was in UCLA, and it was a nice school, right? I go to school, just not very, very regularly. What I mean by that was I kind of lost track of that feeling when I first joined church, right? I would pray every single day. I would go to church every Sunday. In Westwood, the environment was, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I would say I grew apart from God a little bit. That's not very good. I was not very good. I started feeling not as mentally fit, not as healthy. At that moment, it's just, and bad things happened in my life as well. Didn't quite want to go into too much in detail, but in a nutshell, I by doing nothing very accidentally, I was sent to immigration detention. I was legal, everything was good. Okay, it was just very unforeseen situation. It was a big mistake. Long story there. I don't want to go into there, but detention was at the beginning was terrible. It was terrified. I was terrified, right? I didn't know how long I was going to stay in there. It was crowded. I've never gone through, stuff like that. I was a good student. I'm supposed to complete college and just move forward with my life. I wasn't supposed to be there. But in there, very interestingly, I met a lot of good brothers. I still stay in touch with them. They're from different countries. They're from Haiti. They're from Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala. What I realized is even in such a constrained environment, their mind is so free. Like I was nervous, but they're not. I want to know the difference. And then I talked to all of them. I realized every single person that I talked to was a believer of God, almost every single one. At that moment, and I decided to start praying again. I want to find that feeling, right? That inner peace. And at this moment, that TV I was using some televangelist Joel Austin, right, saw his stuff on there. I was like, wow, that is a sign. So let me listen to it.
So wait a second. They played Joel Osteen on the TV in the detention center?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, I think somebody changed the channel to turn the channel to do that. I don't know what happened, but I was sitting in there, I was eating my lunch, and Joel Austin was saying something along the lines of God hasn't abandoned you. You know, your sins has already been forgiven, right? Just pick up your mat and leave, and stuff like that. I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah, but that's pretty accurate.
right? Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he was saying. At that moment, that just the spur of inspiration really gave me that power, that boost that I need in me. I was feeling super depressed. Just imagine this. I was supposed to go back to school and finish everything, but instead I ended up here. With I did everything correctly. Why am I here? There's a lot of doubt, negative voice raising, building up in my mind. It's just honestly, after listening to the sermon, after talking to people, I started really look things differently. I said, God is using me right here, using this experience, this environment to make me a better person. And that's genuinely what I was thinking. So at that moment, I made a decision. I said, how do I make this experience 10 times better? And I can learn more stuff than in UCLA. That's the question. And then I realized there's a lot I can do. I realized that in detention, there was a lot of books I can read. I can get unlimited amount of books, and I have a lot of time as well. I have a lot of, Spanish speaker. I always said I wanted to learn Spanish. I didn't have nobody to practice. Right now, I have so many people I can practice with.
Yeah, many different dialects too.
Many different dialects as well. So what I did was I would every single day I would spend 3 hours, 4 hours just conversing with native Spanish speaker, right, coming from Mexico, different areas, and I will also be the translator in the entire in that area, translating for Spanish speaking people, for also Chinese speaking people. So everybody knows me over there. They know I'm a good guy, I'm a translator, and then I make peace, and it was kind of like that. That experience really strengthened my tie with God. And I said to myself, I'm never ever gonna let him go again. Never ever I'm gonna leave God again. That was the thing. I realized, actually, when I say this, a lot of people don't believe it. I actually had the best day ever in there. It's just mentally, the entire day was just, I love everybody. Everybody loved me. That entire experience, it's very hard to describe. It's almost like God is telling you what to do and showing you the sign. And everything just went perfect. Have you had one of those days before? Everything just went perfect. And then you just felt it, even though you're kind of constrained in a way, but also you're very free. At least for me, I feel very free. That went on for a little bit. Again, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, it was when Donald Trump just got admitted, and then I cleared the air. Obviously, everything was good, right? But that was experience, right? That was experience that I always will remember. I went back to UCLA in order to.
Well, how long were you in detention?
A few months. I'll just say that. Okay, a few months. It's not like 2 weeks and I had all these experiences.
Yeah, wow.
A little bit of a time. And after that, I was at Hablo Español. Completamente. Okay. I speak Spanish back then. I mean, I was not as fluent, but after that experience, not only I speak Spanish, I found God again, and then I went back to school, and in order to finish everything fast, I had to accelerate. Usually in UCLA, you would take 3 classes a quarter, maybe 4 if you're really committed. I was taking 6 classes. On the side, I was doing some business as well. Again, I think with God's help, anything is possible, is very doable. And I realized I feel a sense of accomplishment just by knocking things out, just with a class, with school, with a business. I was able to manage everything. Again, real estate, that's what I was doing. And I was started getting into real estate space. I realized that God is just giving me a lot of, I would say, guidance, putting the right people in my life. And yeah, I mean, that's essentially my career right now. I'm very proud to say that by such a younger age, in just a few years in the business, I'm already top 1% in the entire Southern California.
That's incredible.
And all thanks to God. People ask me all the time, Michael, what's your secret in this? Is it because you're speaking the languages? Or what is it because how you talk to people? Is that how? I think I credit everything to God. That's important to me. And that's how I met Linda as well. Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of in a nutshell. Don't want to go into like a lot in detail, but in a nutshell, that's kind of my life story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you wanted to talk a little bit about your vision and making following Jesus like cool and working with younger people. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. What I realized, I'm still learning a lot. That I have to say, I'm still from the age of 1 to 16, I didn't know Jesus. From 16 to 18 or so, I was half in, right? And afterward, so I wouldn't say I know everything as much as you and Linda, right? Obviously, she grew up in that environment, right?
Yeah.
Her father was a pastor, was it? And etc. So there's still a lot to learn. But what I do know is once I'm on this path of following Jesus, following God, everything that we want in life, we can actually accomplish. I truly believe that. That's the thing. I realize that I think relationship, career, physical, mental, spiritual, they're all connected, right? They're all connected. And it starts with spiritual. It starts with at least, 1 hour or so with God every single week, usually Sunday. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't pick up my phone, even clients. I would call back later on. I would just spend that 1 hour or so, talk to God, listen to what He wants me to do. And I'm essentially downloading wisdom in a way. And I realized this is such a good practice and good activity. My vision, I love real estate. Don't get me wrong. I love this, I'm really good at this as well in terms of getting results, in terms of getting what the clients want to accomplish. I'm really good at that. At the same time, I love my generation of people as well. One thing I have a little bit problem with is in our social media era, which is right now, everything is so, how do you say, in 30 seconds. Everything is so short, right? Our attention span is very short, right? On social media, on Instagram, TikTok, it's just all about this violence, right? Grab eyeballs, right? That's the part, that's the problem I have right now. Makes a lot of younger people gravitating toward those things. The violence, the sexuality, the instant gratification. You listen to all the pop music right now. I'm really passionate about music as well. You listen to Billboard top 100 songs, right? I would say more than 90%, not even 80, more than 90%, they're all praising devil in a
Oh,
way.
yeah. And all varying topics. It's like a lot of deep depravity in all the music.
Yeah. And that,
Well,
I mean, to me, I always have this thing I say to people. I think junk music is worse than junk food.
mm, hmm
Yeah, junk food, it hurts one person. Junk music, you listen to it. Like our young people, we listen to every single day. You listen to that song WAP. I don't know if you know that song,
I
WAP.
know what it is. Yes.
You have to listen to the uncensored version, right? Can you imagine 14, 15-year-old girl, right? They didn't know a lot. They go ahead and listen to this explicit version, and they will play this song over and over because it's catchy. I mean, let's be real. These are devil producers are pretty good at what they do, right?
Yeah,
Beats, music, and all those things, they're very catchy. So people
of course
listen
it is. They make it attractive and,
very.
cool. And then these people let their little kids listen to it. They're repeating the lyrics, not even knowing what they're saying, but it's infiltrating their,
Yeah,
their spirit when they say these things, and it's opening doors to things that are very scary.
very scary. Then you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
That's what it is right now. That's what's happening right now. Um, to me, a lot of my peers, younger generation, so to say, they don't think following Jesus is cool anymore. That's the thing. They think following devil, doing all those things, making females or making males essentially an object,
Hmm
right? Drugs, they're normalizing that, right? One guy, a lot of females, they're normalizing that.
hmm
So that's my problem with it. Um, I don't know if you know this familiar with this guy called Kanye West. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, he used to be was on that path as well. Let's be real. Like before, he was doing a lot of that stuff, right?
hmm
But he turned. His by the way, this is just a quick anecdote. Kanye West, his net worth before he followed Jesus was a negative number, was a negative 200 million or something. It was in debt, huge amount of debt. It was public. He was asking money from Mark Zuckerberg. He wants to borrow money. After he followed Jesus, this is you can see the change. He right now he's worth over $4 billion after following Jesus.
Really? I
Yes.
did not know that.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Again, when you're doing the right, I mean, I think I like stories where like a sinner, so to say, somebody who's not supposed to follow Jesus, got converted because he has gone through the dark side. That side he has gone through. And right now, after following Jesus, he went to mental hospital, by the way. His wife got robbed and etc. Went to UCLA mental hospital. I actually saw him one day. He was really down. And during mental hospital, he found God. And after he came out of the mental hospital, he completely a different person, right? He started putting together this Sunday service choir where he would make pop music, that glorifies God. And I really like that. I really
Yeah.
like that. People doubt his intention. Is it real? Is it just trying to put on an act? And I don't care, actually. I went to that concert. I feel super elevated. I feel like I was so close to God. The choir was amazing. The choir
Wow.
was amazing. Beautiful songs, right? And that's, he's somebody before I don't want to judge people's past, right? Everybody has a past. But that action by itself, I admire that so much. He said, my vision is to make following Jesus cool again. If, huge people, big people who we look up to, they openly praise Jesus. And that's the life they're living in. People see that. People want to become one of them. And they're following Jesus. then it makes more people want to follow Jesus. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to live my life to the fullest. Absolutely. Help the most amount of people, have the most amount of influence. And eventually, when people see Michael, they're like, okay, wow, he's following Jesus, he is following God, he's doing very well. Then I should consider doing that. That's what I want, my vision, and I want to make it cool. Yeah.
Well,
That's
wonderful testimony, like from where you started and how you got here and what happened when you got here and to where you are now. It's amazing to see what God has done in your life.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I think I just want to, last but not least, I want to end with this thought. This is something that I was thinking recently. I read Linda's book, right? Linda wrote that book because of a vision that she had, at 3 a.m., if I remember that correctly. She said 3 a.m., God gave her a vision. She woke up in the middle of the night. She saw God is telling her to write this book, and he has her name on it. Stuff like that. All right, here's what I'm trying to get at. I believe God is talking to us. God is giving us hint and signal and signs, and visions. That's how he talks to us. He doesn't talk very openly. Hey, Michael, you got to do this. He doesn't talk to us like that, right? He talks in secret, in private.
Yeah.
I think he talks to all of us. Whether or not we listen to him, that's a different thing.
Yeah, absolutely true. And a lot of times he'll speak in dreams. That's a big one. Yeah. And a lot of times it's your own thoughts that it sounds like you in your head, but these thoughts just come out of nowhere, and it's actually him speaking to you, or through music.
Yes.
Song pops into your head that's, an appropriate song.
Yes.
And
appropriate songs. Yeah.
If there's a message in those lyrics, and he'll use secular songs as well as Christian songs to speak to us. And, you just got to pay attention when these things pop in your head and be like, okay, what are you trying to say to me, God? And quiet yourself and actually listen to the still small voice to get the answers.
I love that. I just realized that he will talk to us, whether we listen or not. That's one thing, right? In Bible, he talked to Moses in his dream. He talked to Abraham in his dream, right? He talks to us in our dream as well. Whether or not we listen to him, that's on us. And moreover, it's very interesting that we have different thoughts, right? Some from God, some are from God, some are from the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Agree to that, right?
Yes.
Some of them not very good thoughts. How do we judge? How do we know which one should we listen to? I think number one is by, again, spending time with God, spending time in church, listening to what God really likes, what he's really saying. And number two is, I was just thinking that if it brings fear in our lives, most likely it's not from God. If it brings fear, God doesn't bring fear to us. He brings us courage. So if, for example, before joining this podcast, there was a level of fear. I was like, I've never done this before. I don't know what I was going to talk about, right? I had a long day. I still got a lot to do, actually. I don't know if I'm going to do well. What am I thinking? That thought, just know that it doesn't come from God.
Yeah, that's the enemy trying to detour you from speaking out and sharing your story, because anything that is of the enemy is going to be condemning or tell you, like, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. No one's going to want to listen to what you have to say. And you know that those kinds of thoughts come from the enemy. And then anything that's edifying or, will build you up are usually thoughts from God. So it's good to know the difference and to just not pay attention to those negative thoughts. And if you start to get them, to rebuke them in the name of Jesus and say, no, I want to hear what you have to say, Lord, and then just listen and be quiet and see what comes to you after that. So
I
It's
love that.
definitely it's a battle for your mind on the daily through the music, through the movies, through just your thoughts. And we have to stay diligent and just stay on top of it and understand that the devil, like a roaring lion, going around trying to devour and destroy us. So looking out for our best interest, and he's like protecting us, but we have to, you know, spend time with him and get to know his voice. So like it says in the scriptures that his sheep will know his voice. So we got to practice listening so we know the voice of the Father.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I'm very happy. I'm generally very, number one, feeling pretty honored. Number two, very happy that I'm able to share some of bigger calling in our lives as well. We just got to listen to it and do our part. And then the rest, just leave it to God. And
Yeah,
He's take care of it. I believe that genuinely.
right. Well, and the other thing I want to say too, because I mean, you went through several struggles to get where you were. Following God isn't easy to
Yeah,
be able to stay the course. So I
absolutely.
encourage everyone who's listening to just like really take that time and be diligent to just intentionally spend some time with God every day. It will change your life. Thank you all for listening and for joining us today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.